plants are the new pets and that pets are the new children.
They're an extension of your family.
Puppies particularly are just sort of, free beings, and they just do whatever they want to do, which is absolutely wonderful.
They're much more like us than we realise. They're more like 2 or 3-year-old children. Your dog will never be annoyed with you, never. Your dog will always love you. They're just one of the good things about life. When lockdowns happened, people found themselves being at home much more. And a lot of people who had wanted to have a pet previously but couldn't because they had to go out to work, they took the opportunity to take on a pet. And what that meant that dogs in particular became much more popular. There has been a cultural shift in Ireland that has happened around the time of the pandemic. Basically, dogs have just become a much more of a part of our lives. And there was a surge in dog ownership levels by about 20%. Prices of puppies went up hugely. So it used to cost like €500 to buy a pedigree puppy, and then it went up to like €2,000. The cost of producing a dog stayed the same, so it became much, much more profitable to breed puppies. And so that then fueled people to breed puppies with the wrong motives for breeding dogs.
It happened between 10:15, 10:30, and that would be their fourth feed, their nightcap. But this was more of an alarming squeal, and I was drying my hands, and when I went out, the 2 gates were opened. That is the gate into the enclosure and the one into the puppy house. So these articles were obviously watching. It was highly organised, and they broke through 2 gardens. They're long gardens, broke through 2 of them, and then into me. I am sure they were watching me. I have to say, I am not a faint-hearted lady. But it knocks the stuffing out of you. The shock and the emotional shock. I still think every single day about where are the 4 of them that were sold. Are they going for a walk? Do these people know what they have? Are they being looked after? Stuff of nightmares. I sat in a chair. I couldn't even drink a cup of tea till 7:30 that night, after the night of it. I have made the place so secure. It's about 3 steps down from what's around a prison. But I don't feel I'm in a prison. And I just have a fortress around the place now. And I put a widow's curse on them all.
As well as that, we have a different understanding of animals now, whereas we now know that actually they're much more like us than we realise. They feel curiosity and fear and pain and happiness, all of those things. Dogs' brains and human brains are very, very similar. The only thing that's missing for them is the large forebrain that makes us worry about things and reflect on things and think about things. They don't think about things as much as we do, but they feel the emotions.
Some of the pandemic dogs are really quite needy, and that's been brought about by a huge amount of human and family contact.
During lockdown, dogs got used to us being at home all the time. A lot of people spent a lot more time with their pets. When the lockdowns finished and people started to go out from the home more, then some dogs especially, they weren't used to being on their own, and they get upset about that, and they suffer from a problem which is called separation anxiety.
Some people, they head off back to work and they don't give consideration how distressing this can be for the dog, who is familiar with having 24-hour humans around them. That's traumatic for the dog.
And that means that they do things like barking and howling. Sometimes they chew things. Sometimes they mess in the house. If a dog does suffer from separation anxiety, people should seek professional help to get it sorted.
We would often say when people are preparing to go back to work, start dropping your dog into daycare for a couple of hours in the morning just to get it familiar with being away from you, the owners. And that really is very successful. Like some dogs, they kind of slide in on their back, they're so nervous, but we'll support them in that nervousness and build them and just introduce them to really gentle, what we call bomb-proof dogs that are just beautifully behaved, and let them, meet the puppy for the first time and show the puppy that you're safe, you're okay, you're not going to be killed in here or anything like that.
People are much more aware of the needs of animals than they used to be. But still, I see a lot of animal welfare problems happening due to ignorance. And I don't mean that in an unkind way. I just mean some people don't know. They just don't know. They don't know enough information. And so we're now at the stage where I suppose lockdowns have stopped. Puppies from 2 years ago have matured into young adult dogs. And quite a large number of people don't really know about dog training. And so they've ended up with dogs that are badly behaved. Animal rescue centres, some of them are telling us that they have a surge of dogs being surrendered to them to be rehomed.
There are a lot of different reasons that people surrender animals. Sometimes it can be because they have just realised they've made a mistake. A lot of the times it can be because they haven't got enough time, they haven't got enough money, the animal grew too big, they did an impulse buy. Sometimes animals are bought as investments or basically as entertainment for children, and that's when there isn't too much love involved with the animal and they can be easier to surrender.
If somebody wants to become a dog owner, I would say to them, do your research first. And there's lots of good places to do research, especially online. It's very easy these days. I would probably go to the bigger animal rescue groups, whether it's Dogs Trust or DSPCA or Modra, and I would go to their websites and look for sections about what's involved in owning a dog, understand how much time, how much money, how much energy, how much emotional involvement is going to be involved. So if people know that before they get a pet, it's much more likely it's going to work out for the long term. I would spend a week reading up about the subject before making a decision.
Foster. Try it out. Fostering a dog will bring an animal into your home. You will probably have it in your home for 2 weeks, and it will give you a very good indication as to whether or not you actually want to have a dog in your house.
Do not be fooled by the brilliantly designed puppy and how attractive they are. Have a look at your lifestyle. If your idea of exercise is getting up off the couch and going to the fridge, okay, you really don't want a super active dog. There are breeds there that will suit that lifestyle, okay? But you don't need a Springer Spaniel. You can walk a Springer Spaniel for 10 hours and it's going to look at you when it gets home saying, well, that's a nice practice run. When are we going for our real walk, okay?
And I'd always say to people, adopt, don't shop. You don't need to spend lots of money on getting a dog. You can, there's plenty of crossbred rescue dogs, even pedigree rescue dogs, looking for homes. And just because they need to be rescued doesn't mean they're in any way worse than a new animal that hasn't had a home before.
The advantage of adopting an animal is the animal is already here, it's already on this planet, rather than being bred for profit by an unscrupulous breeder.
Dog rescue centres have got animals that need homes, and they know what they're talking about, and they're very good at matchmaking. They're very good at having an animal that needs a home and looking at different people who are available and choosing the right dog for the right person. They're very skilled at doing that. It's in their interests. They don't want to rehome a dog to somebody who it's not right for. That's not any good for them, because then the dog will come back to them and the problem isn't solved. They want to solve the problem of getting a good home for their dog. So they're probably the best people to talk to.
The problem is they come in with something in their head that they want, and they say to themselves they want a 3-year-old adult medium-sized collie cross dog. They walk into the shelter, the first thing they see are puppies, and that's what they end up deciding they want to take, and it might not be something suitable for them.
You've got to match your lifestyle with your dog, so do this before you start. Don't find this out when you have the dog at home. Really be careful about that. That's so important.
It's not something for somebody's amusement. A dog isn't to keep children happy for a couple of weeks. It's a family effort.
Pets give something to us in our lives. I can't really explain it. A sense of completion, a sense of company, and it makes life seem complete.
I think the thing we would like to see most would be that people don't assume that it is a right to have a dog. It's a privilege.